Tolka skажу, dalsze na swoje, talka agni, a ja droma. What up, guys? How's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a video on why I don't think you should buy a house. Again, those are my Patreon members and the referral code for that game that I've been talking about down below. Patreon as well. My friend Steph is a realtor, and she's very good at what she does. Partially because she happens to be a good-looking woman and people just listen to her. I feel like good-looking people are more easily trusted, and not only that, but she honestly does have her clients' best interests at heart. She's a hell of a saleswoman. And just to give you guys some perspective, I'll try my best to go with both sides over here. She says the top 3 reasons why she thinks you should buy a house is 1, to build equity over time. When you rent, she says you're just giving that money away. You're not getting anything for it. Yeah, you have a place to live, kind of roof over your head, but it's not something that you can, your own place where you can do whatever you want. You're not going to see that money again. Number 2 is just pride of ownership, where if you buy, that's what you get. If you don't buy and you just rent, you do not have that sense of pride. That's something you're not going to feel every day. Every time you look at your house, every time you go in and look at the way you arranged it and organized it, something that's your own. You won't get that with renting, supposedly. Number 3, she says, you know your house will appreciate over time, and you will make big profit by getting a house over the course of 30 years. That's how that's how long most people take to buy a house. Now, I'm going to go over these things that absolutely destroy her. Okay, building equity over time. Yes, you will. You average around 3 or 4% a year with your house, building equity over that time. Just going over some numbers here. For a place near me, let's say in Huntington, Long Island, a very cheap house in Long Island, $429,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. And if you were to put 20% down, which is the average, unless you're a veteran like myself and you could use the VA home loan and you don't have to put anything down, 20% is typically what you have to put down. That is about $85.8 thousand that anyone would have to put down to buy that house. Over a 30-year fixed rate, that's 3.683%. That's about $1,576 a month, or plus an additional $826 a month with taxes. That's just your payment, and that's just taxes. That is not including, let's say, home insurance. There's another $150 a month. But just between those two things, you're looking at about $2,402 per month. Okay? For each year that you stay there, that is $28,824 a month. You multiply that by 30 years, you are paying $864,720 for a $429,000 house. Again, this is over 30 years, and by that time, if the house appreciates by 3.04%, then you're looking at that house potentially being $951,239 in 30 years by 2051. Again, you have to spend a lot. Eventually, you somewhat break even. Now, if you're like me, and say you have a couple businesses, or even if you're not like me, like I'm a little bit, this is why I would never buy a house, a little bit of a special case. What I do for work, I can make 30% on my money each year. So if I take $80,000 and I continuously make 30% each year on that, I'll have $1.43 million off of that $80,000 in just 10 years. Now, I said, well, why haven't you done that already? Well, ever since I got out of the military in late 2016, did not start my first business until mid-2017. Had a couple of grand, which I started with. Did not have $100,000 net worth until October of 2019. Since then, I've quadrupled. So again, give me enough time. That's what I'll do. But if you're not like me, again, that's why I'll never buy a house. Even if you're not like me and you have $80,000 just laying around somewhere, no loan, no whatever, just what you have, and you put it into the market. The market appreciates at normally anywhere between 9 and 11% each year. Some years it goes down, and some years you lose money in the market. But on average, between 9 and 11% each year. Some years can go at 15 or 20%. But let's take the median of that, 10% each year. $80,000 put into an ETF that gets 10% each year. Let's say the Vanguard, the VOO, the SPY, whatever you want to put. At the end of 30 years, you're going to have $1,395,952. Just from that $80,000, that is $5,800 less than the down payment that you would have put for that house. At the end of 30 years, that is an extra $400,044 just from the down payment. All right, that's not including the extra, again, $2,400 a month. That instead of paying that for a house each year, again, not including home insurance, $150 a month times 12 months, $1,800 times 30 years, extra $54,000 that you could put towards other stuff. Again, this is not including utilities. That's not including internet, whatever. Where if you're just continuously renting, you can take that money, again, $2,400 a month. Let's say you can get a place for $2,000. I'm going to be living in a place that is very, very cheaper than that, just because there's only one of me. I don't have a family. I have a girlfriend, but she's not going to be living in that apartment with me. That is something where you're saving so much more money. You can make so much more money with that if you just put it in the market. That's, again, not being like me, not going all in on Tesla, not going all in on Pokemon cards, not going all in on Earth 2, that video game where I made 1,000% the last 2 months, which is absolutely asinine. That is insane, but it's happening. I will be starting another business in conjunction with this of just consultation, saying like, hey, I just did it with my friend Allison. She was kind of my test subject. Okay, hey, these are what your bills are. This is what you're making. This is what you can and probably should do. That's just something that I'll do. Patreon down below if this helps. Again, this is something where I 100% believe that it is not prudent for a lot of people to buy a house. A lot of people, what they do is they try to buy this big house with, and again, this is a small, cheap house with, it was 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. A lot of people, again, if you have a partner and let's say you want a kid, okay, partner and then a kid, that house, and then, spare bedroom, okay, fine, whatever. But for some of us that maybe don't want that, or a partner like me where they just consistently want to save and make a lot of money, and they would much rather take 4 or 5 vacations each year as opposed to, oh, got a house, got to do a project for the house. Again, this continuing on what you want to do. A lot of people, I think they keep up with the Joneses. They get this big house that they don't need, that they might not even want, but they just say, look what I got. And then they're struggling to make payments. They're doing just to impress people that they don't like, that other people might not like them. I would never do that. I would absolutely not do that. That is the worst advice I think you can give someone. Again, if you want to marry someone that they say like, oh, you know what, you only have this apartment, and they read into it, they say like, okay, there's no one, this apartment tells me there's no room for anyone in your life but yourself. Okay, get a house. If you want to play that game, if that's the deciding factor, again, the ROI is happiness. What's going to make you happy? What's going to eat up the least amount of real estate in your brain? What is going to actually give you pride? Again, when she said building equity over time, all right, I smashed that. You will get more equity, you will get more money in stuff as you invest in other things. But pride of ownership, I myself have more pride watching my net worth go up every quarter. I have more pride in that than I would be in owning a house that, again, I'm not using. Again, I work too much for that. And even if you're only working 8 hours a day, sleeping 8 hours a day, you're really only enjoying the house for how much? Maybe it's if you want to throw parties, if you want to do that, okay, that's cool. That's just not something I would do. Again, house will appreciate over time. She's right. It will build equity, and it will appreciate over time. Now, there's a whole other side of this where people make businesses out of this. They put down however much for a down payment. let's say, and again, this is a cheap house in Huntington. A lot of other places are $600,000, $1 million. So you could take, let's say, a loan out on it, put in $100,000 worth of work into it, right? So then now instead of 429, you put 100 grand into it. Generally, you have another 200 grand equity into it. So now it's 629,000. So if you put 100 grand, usually you have 200 grand equity. So what you would do is you would do a cash out refinance. You go to the bank, you say, hey, this house is now appraised at $629,000. So you had your 429 that you had the loan at, you have 100 grand that you put in, you spent a total, or you have total debt of, let's say, 529,000. Now this house is worth 629,000. Cash out refinance, you get a new loan of 629,000. It pays off the old loan of 529,000, and you net $100,000. Now, obviously, you're going to have a mortgage that you're going to have to pay. So obviously, you rent it out, you do whatever, you take that 100 grand, and you go and you do that to another house. You get a house, you do the same thing, put 100 grand into it, and that's how you get rental income properties. A lot of people do that. Graham Stephan does it on his show. There is nothing wrong with that. I myself don't have the expertise for that. A lot of people don't, but some people do. So if you want to do that and that's just your business, that's what you're good at, you get enjoyment out of that, great. But for a lot of us that just don't need that big place, a lot of people are single. A lot of people, even if they're not single, if you don't want kids, you don't need a big house. You don't need a big house. Maybe I'm a little more old school, where I had my parents says like no, it was two like a like a less than 2 bedroom apartment, for a married couple and 3 kids. And again, that's very old school. It happened in like the 70s, 60s. But for this, I do not believe that you need a big house to be happy. I like money. money makes me happy. My girlfriend makes me happy. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you should do. But I'm just trying to give you the opposite side. I feel like right now it's conventional wisdom to say like, go to college and then you get a house, and again, do what makes you happy. But I'm just giving you another side to it where you could build a lot more wealth. Again, not just doing what I do. Again, I'm a little bit of a cowboy. Saying, oh, go all in on Tesla, all in on Pokemon cards, all in on Earth 2. And I've made a substantial amount of money with it. But again, not everyone wants to do that. They just want to put a little bit away each month, and that's fine. Build equity that way. You will make a lot more money just putting it into an ETF fund, not even just putting it into Tesla or any of the stocks that I recommend. It's not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but you'll make a lot more money doing that than you would putting it into a house. That's it. I love you all. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I'll see you all tonight for an Earth 2 update video. Thank you.